Silence, but this is not peace. This is before the storm. The priests kneel and pray, but this time, God does not answer. Because outside, something is coming. Longships, silent, fast, and this time, they will not stop. From between the doors, a priest looks out and freezes. Because what he sees is not a people, it is a catastrophe. The gates shatter, screams echo against the stone walls. All the gold ripped from trembling hands. Faith shatters. And they show no mercy. But this was not just an attack. This was the beginning of something that would change the world. This is not a legend, but it is not entirely real either. This is one of the darkest faces of humanity. It was not violence that made him this way. It was necessity. Cold, hunger, and the fight to survive. Because in the north, you either take or you disappear. When does a human become a barbarian? They lived together, they fought together. But power was never shared. And the greatest threat was not always the enemy. Sometimes, it was your own brother. There was love. But this world did not protect it. The thing you loved was the easiest to lose. And sometimes, the greatest battle is not fought with swords, but within. They were not just warriors. They believed in the sky. To the storm, to the thunder. Because nature was not just a force to them, it was a living being. Nothing was random. Every victory was a message. Every death was a sign, and fate was always watching. But was fate truly written, or was it just a lie they chose to believe? Before the battle, there was silence. The fire burned, prayers were spoken. Because war was not only physical, this was a test of the soul. And then they would set sail. Longships cut through the water as they moved forward. Red sails appeared on the horizon like a stain of blood. And when you saw them, it was already too late. Because they did not change where they came from, they changed where they were going. Light armor, round shields. Fast movement, because in this world, to be slow was to die. The change did not happen in a moment. It did not begin with a war. It began with an encounter. A shore, silence, but this time, no swords are drawn. A Viking looks at the man before him. A different language, a different world. But the same thing in their eyes, survival. When does an enemy become a teacher? At first, they only watched. The cities, the order, the rules. And they were surprised, because for the first time, they saw another kind of power. You could be strong without destroying. A Viking watched a market. No one was shouting, no one had died. But everyone was gaining, and in that moment, something changed. But not everyone accepted it. Some said, this is weakness. We are warriors. But others saw something different. This was the future. And every society faces the same question, to change or to disappear. It was not a choice. It was a transformation, slow, silent, but inevitable. One day, a child held a toy instead of a sword. A man, instead of raiding, chose to trade. And without anyone noticing, everything changed. Rules emerged, gatherings began, punishments were set. And for the first time, power was brought under control. But within them, the old world still lived. War, revenge, the hunger for power. Some of this story was real. Some of it was told. Some of it was changed. Because history is not written as it happened, but as it was remembered. They were not just Vikings. They were proof of what humans can become. And maybe, the most dangerous thing is not always out there. Sometimes, it is within us. Axiom Earth continues to reveal the darkest truths of humanity. If you want to see the truth, subscribe, because the next story will go even deeper.